And the other thing too, I would tell the personal representative is you're entitled to payment for your time. So the time that they spend and the liability that they take on to become that personal representative, they're entitled to reasonable compensation. So that comes off the top, right from the estate or right from the trust. And that's something I do as well. If they hire me, I help them determine what that fair fee is for them.
Okay. Now, when you say the fair fee for them, does it vary depending upon what are the circumstances that it would vary?
Yeah. So like my legal fees, they vary depending on the number of beneficiaries there are, the types of assets and,
Okay.
and other factors like that. Kind of, I'll call it the old fashioned way or kind of the basic way is simply time, right? Just how much time it's going to take. But
Well, I meant the fee that they would charge as the PR, because I've heard some people say, "Well, I'm charging $20 an hour," and then I had another guy who was a personal representative. He was billing $50 an hour. It seems to
yeah,
be it varies across the way, right?
yeah. So me as an attorney, when I represent a trust or an estate, I'm usually billing on flat fees. I
Okay.
figure out I have a good idea of what it's going to take where I can quote a flat fee. But I recommend my clients do the same thing for their trustee fee and PR fees. I don't turn it into an hourly rate because that's a losing proposition because
So,
everyone lies about their time, right?
interesting.
And then the other question is how do you figure out a fair hourly rate? We had an attorney in Chicago that charged like $1,100 an hour, right? As his billable. Is that fair for him to charge that when he's serving as the PR? I would say no, absolutely not.
Well,
So
what about the guy who, he works as a school teacher and he's been appointed as PR for his sister's estate? Is he going to bill more, or is he going to bill less than a guy who's a doctor who's now the PR? Does it depend upon like what you do for your career on the billing time, or?
not really, not really. It's kind of like that. Like if you're a surgeon or like that lawyer I use billing
Yep.
$1,100 an hour, that doesn't mean you're going to take your same rate into this.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
So I've been on all sides of the argument, right? I've had people say my fees are too high. I've been on the other side saying their fees are too high. And when it comes down, you just have to be able to justify it. The law is very simple. Like for the PR fees, it just says reasonable compensation.
That's all it
And
says.
yeah, and it says that depends on time, the difficulty and other factors.
Huh. So
So
that's pretty big.
yes. So I said that's the main benefit. That's one of my selling points for the trustees and the PRs, where I say, how much do you want to charge? And then I go, cool, how are you going to sell that to your family? Do you need help selling that to your family? And then
Yeah.
that's kind of what I help them with. So a lot of times I have their fees match what my fees are. So if my fees for the probate end up being 10,000, I recommend that they charge the same.
That's a great answer.